The Thames will take us to London town, of wonderful beauty and great renown. And right at the heart of London stands the Royal Opera House, usually known as Covent Garden, a magic name. High up above the auditorium of Covent Garden, in the dome of the ceiling, is this little room where the follow spotlights are operated. And when the lighting designer sends his messages over the intercom, he says, "Dome, pick up Miss Fonteyn in a 9 pink," or something like that. So I always call the operators my friends, the dome men. And when I'm way down there, a little speck on the stage, I know that I depend on them entirely because so much of the magic of theatre is in the lighting, and especially the follow spots. They used to be called limes, and there's a Victorian print that sums it all up very aptly. Coming out in the limelight, going home in the rain, it says. And that is often the story of theatre life. Not literally walking home in the rain, perhaps, but away on tour, going from city to city and returning to the empty hotel room every night after the show. But the stage never loses its magic. It's always a challenge, the promise of success and glory and the risk of failure. The first time I ever appeared on that stage down there was in a summer opera season. I was just 15 and the newest member of the back row of the corps de ballet. A Nibelung in the Rheingold, in fact. Tonight, my friends here will be following me in the spotlight in a special performance, a tribute to my 60th birthday. Frederick Ashton has choreographed a new dance for me, in which I remember snatches of many of the ballets that he created for me in the past, and he will join me in the last few bars on the stage. Before the curtain goes up, I'm a little nervous, as always. kiss from Frederick Ashton, the greatest choreographer of our time. At the end of the evening, all the company are on stage after Ashton's ballet Façade, in which Robert Helpman danced the tango with me. He was my first partner when I was 15 and for many years. Ninette de Valois is the most important person in British ballet. From the start, with a group of 6 girls, she's built up this great Royal Ballet Company with its own school, its own style and tradition, now among the finest in the world. And at 80, she's still very much involved in it all. Without her guidance over the major part of my career, I would never have had all those wonderful years out in the limelight. After the show, there's a party in the theatre with all the company. Princess Margaret is president of the Royal Ballet and the Royal Ballet School.
So much.
Isn't that fantastic? Came from far and wide to be here.
Marie Rambert and Frederick Ashton.
Well, who's talking? Who's talking, man?
Darling, I am great-great-grandmother.
You are Margot.
John Tooley is General Administrator of the Royal Opera House. The empty auditorium, the curtain down, and that was the official end of my career. But it's never really an end, because no matter who comes and goes in the ballet, it's always on with the dance. That curtain will rise tomorrow night on the new stars and young stars in the making, and they'll continue the tradition that I inherited and helped to pass on. They'll live the same life, classes, rehearsals, the grease paint and the glory of performance. Some of them start about 9 or 10 years old, and some of us start much younger. Or the old can pretend to be young. How many times have I looked in that mirror as I put on my makeup for Swan Lake, Sleeping Beauty, an important first night, or an exciting gala at Covent Garden, or just one of the hundreds of performances that go to make up a long career. I never felt it was routine. What they call the smell of the grease paint and the lure of the footlights never lost their magic for me. The Opera House fireman always brought me a cup of tea at the end of the show. My favorites were all the Frederick Ashton ballets. The last one he created for me was the first ballet ever created for Rudolf Nureyev. It was Marguerite and Armand. Ashton chose Liszt's music and the well-known story by Dumas called The Lady of the Camélias. I've tried to tell you something about theatre and dance and what they mean to me. But why we do ballet is more difficult. Perhaps I wouldn't have chosen ballet as a profession if I'd known that staying at the top once you get there is rather like running up a down-going escalator. If you stop running, down you go. But then that's the fun of it. It's the challenge that we love, and also the dancing. Those hours spent in classes and rehearsals that outsiders usually think are so onerous are sometimes the best part, when we can put our whole heart into it without having to worry about the audience. Those can be very magical moments. But so far as I'm concerned, if it's the pas de chat or the cha-cha-cha, the rumba, the samba, the Morris dance, or the grand pas de deux, it's all the magic of dance.